Me? Oh, no. No. I'm looking for...
A super safe game plan. A super safe game plan?
Yeah, safe, slow.
Offensive scheme, not too many points. Too many points?
That's right.
I have contained my rage for as long as possible, but I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves! Begone, vile man! Begone from me! I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds!
Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 14 of the Vikings season. This week, the Vikings play on Thursday in primetime, and they've decided to trot out their primetime purple uniforms, which is they're all purple with yellow letters, which is why, as you can see, I went purple on purple as a show of solidarity with a team that is not keeping up its end of the deal. Before I dive in to the unusual amount of anger I feel for the Vikings right now, I want to also welcome you all to the first episode where the featured alcohol is not beer, but rather my first love, whiskey. This week's whiskey is a Highland Park 12-year-old Viking Honor single malt Scotch whiskey, 43% alcohol by volume. You can look at the bottle here. Oh, my this thing's probably not going to do it. Well, maybe I'll put up a picture of it. Super cool, like kind of like the Viking Celtic style embossing. Very neat, very interesting bottle, and I feel like the Viking Honor is in short supply these days. So let's see if we can't pour some out of a bottle. All right. I am very new to reviewing whiskeys. I certainly enjoy drinking them, but it's brown. Skål för there, my friends. Okay, so I'd say bourbons are more my thing, but I've had a few scotches. Dewar's is kind of the entry level as far as I can tell. Compared to other ones that I've had, it's got that really kind of smoky, scotchy aroma right off the top. I mean, it hits you before you even get to the glass. Just enough bite, just enough burn, but overall a pretty smooth experience. I mean, caramely is kind of what I want to say. Overall, a very good, I think balanced is what I would say if it's a wine. It's smooth from beginning to end. There's not like a big spike either at the beginning or the end or a weird aftertaste. Overall, very tasty, very full. I like this. Thank you, Highland Park. Oh, Highland Park Distillery. Kirkwall in the Orkney Islands, Scotland, which I believe during the first season I had that beer from Orkney. That was one of my favorites of all time. There's tasting notes on the back here. It's got a natural color of heather honey, sweetness, rich fruit cake, and aromatic smoky peat. Peats, that's the word I was looking for. That smoky peat flavor that you expect with Scotch. This has it in spades. I'm going to keep that close by here as I dive into the Vikings. Now, for those of you who have watched this before, you know that I tend to look forward. I tend to find things to be excited about the next game. But the story of the Vikings season since the offseason is whether or not it's time for the Vikings to part way with Mike Zimmer. If you've been watching these for a while, you know that I have defended Mike Zimmer. I have defended Spielman as the GM, and I have certainly defended Kirk. This season has been trying to get me to concede to the haters. And I mean, again, I can prove it. I've got the receipts. If you go back in past weeks, you will see me saying that the Vikings play calling is kind of this whole ultra conservative, checking down to screen passes and shallow like button hook routes, well short of the line to gain on third down, is maddening. I don't think there's a team in the NFL that runs more draw plays on third and long than the Vikings, as if they're going to fool the defense somehow into dropping back into coverage and leaving no one to stop the running backs. I hear coaches talk all the time about how they look for tendencies in their opponents, how when they play a former assistant head coach, they're looking for those tendencies. Well, the Vikings tend to either throw it short of the sticks on third down, try screen passes on 3rd and 20, or hand it off in the hopes that some miracle run is broken off. And it's maddening. Now, I'm really bad at like keeping track of like the game and how many plays were called, this and that. I believe in the first half alone, like they had 4 or 5 throws behind the line of scrimmage that went for negative yards because the Lions saw the screen passes coming. Now, what happened when they threw it forward to Justin Jefferson? Oh, he had a career day? No. We have one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, possibly the best, depending on, what metrics you use and what color jerseys you root for. We have a very talented wide receiver and, Kirk haters, a quarterback who can get him the ball. And then it becomes the issue of last week of finger pointing. Zimmer says that he wants Cousins to go for the jugular. He wants Cousins to go for it. He doesn't want him to be afraid of throwing interceptions. Cousins says, well, I'm going to keep playing the way I've always played. Okay, then whose fault is it that several plays were clearly designed, schemed up for screen passes? I can think of one that got blown up. I mean, the defender was at the receiver when he caught the ball behind the line of scrimmage and tackled him immediately. On that play, his other option was to turn 180 degrees the other way and throw a screen pass to that side of the field, which would have been blown up immediately, or throw it to one of the 2 shallow routes that other players ran well short of the line to gain. This is what really is frustrating. The Vikings have the talent. If the Vikings can put up 30 on the Cardinals, a team that's defense has proven to be very stout, or 30 on the Packers, again, a team that had like the number 1 defense in the league when the Vikings played them. Why can't they put it up against the Lions? Are the Lions that good all of a sudden? I don't think so. I think it's Zimmer's tendency to only try to score as many points as he thinks he needs to win. The other possible outlet for the rage is offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. Somebody needs to take the heat for this insanely safe passing game that the Vikings have. I don't understand it. I don't know how they can watch their own team play and not be like, this isn't working. Perhaps we should throw it towards the enemy's end zone with our, all-pro wide receiver. Somebody needs to take the heat for this. Now, I will say, Zimmer has a pretty nasty track record of parting ways with his offensive coordinators or his offensive coordinators parting ways with him. So I know that just firing the offensive coordinator is not new to anybody, and maybe he's trying to avoid that stigma of being the guy who's hard to work with. But I think the play calling is that bad that it warrants a letting go of the offensive coordinator. Conversely, Zimmer has had run-ins with past offensive coordinators because he felt like they weren't running the ball enough. And if that's what this means, if Clint Kubiak is not getting a talking to because he's doing a great job of establishing the run instead of actually passing the ball and scoring points when it matters, then Zimmer absolutely needs to go. If this is more about an offensive philosophy that you're trying to like hammer a square peg into a round hole, then you need to go. You've got to work with the tools that you have. Ultimately, I know we all think that the NFL is about winning games and about winning the Super Bowl, but it's not. It is an entertainment industry. And I think the most damning thing now about Zimmer's Vikings is that a lot of the fans I talk to are not entertained. They don't even want to watch the games. That is worse than having people be frustrated that the game didn't go their way. When you, as a Vikings fan, can sit in your chair at home and say, 10-1, they run it on this 3rd and 20, and then they do, it makes you want to turn it off right now. I'm not saying the Vikings season is over. I mean, it probably is. You've dropped 2 in a row. I forget about the percentages, but the Vikings had a 80% chance, 80-something% chance at making the playoffs if they beat San Fran. In a game they really should have if they would have stopped tripping over their own. They still had a roughly 60-something% chance, even after losing to the 49ers, because the rest of their schedule was so easy. Lions, Bears twice, and then the Steelers this Thursday at home. They lost to the Lions. They seldom win at Soldier Field. I mean, it's an occasion if they win at Soldier Field. And then they have to go to Lambeau. It's not looking good. Let me just quick get the shaking to stop here and try to focus up once more. That's enough of the negativity, I think, mostly. I keep saying I'm over it, and then I keep having these like, I do want to once again come to Kirk Cousins' aid. He is up for the FedEx, whatever, Air Player of the Week for his performance against the Lions, which, let me just check real quick. Yes, he completed 30 of 40 attempts, 75%, which is good stuff, for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns for a 116.7 passer rating in Week 13. Those are good stats. And you can call him a compiler if you want to. I say he did that in defiance of the play calling that he had been given. Screen passes, checkdowns, ultra-conservative passing routes. It's not his fault that the Vikings let the Lions march 75 yards with a minute and a half and no timeouts left. He's not on defense. That's on Zimmer, and that's on the defense. I said I was done. I'm gonna just real quick. Okay, I've said my piece. I think I've made it clear how I feel, but it's important to let your emotions out. I'm not going to cry on camera. Okay, on to this week. It is Thursday Night Football. The Vikings have the floundering, aged, decrepit Pittsburgh Steelers in town. It will truly be a movable force meets a very stoppable object, as Big Ben has been getting just walloped. He's old, he's slow, his arm strength is diminished, and defenses have been feasting against him. However, there's not much left of the Vikings defense. It is only Monday night as I'm recording this, and the anger is still fresh. The Vikings, without Kendricks, without Barr, without Hunter, without Everson Griffin, and without, I think, Michael Pierce, are not the same as they are with them on the field. I am not the one who is saying that Mike Zimmer can't coach defense anymore. I truly believe he has been dealt a really rough hand with injuries, and losing 2 absolute athletic studs like Kendricks and Barr is going to hurt any defense. This year, Big Ben has loved to throw to his tight ends and used underneath routes and shallow routes and kind of gadget routes with his guy Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson. And the tight end, Freiermuth, I think it's Pat Freiermuth, lots of stuff in the middle of the field where his ancient arm can actually get them the ball. That is the area that's usually policed by tight ends such as Kendricks and Barr, who are out this week. So I am concerned that the Steelers may be able to matriculate the ball down the field in short, quick dump-off style. And I'm less scared of the deep bombs. The Vikings have also been getting trampled on the ground, famously by Eli Mitchell, and, I mean, not super bad, but Jamal Williams was able to run for the Lions because their defensive line is in tatters. The Steelers have a rookie named Najee Harris, who is currently getting something like 96% of the snaps and getting, a half dozen to a dozen targets a week. I would also expect him to make use of the Vikings' lack of linebacker depth in swing passes, dump-off routes, and short underneath kind of stuff. On the other side, the Steelers have a lot of defensive talent, and the most famous of which is T.J. Watt. But beyond that, they've actually been allowing a fair amount of points to be scored on them. So it should be interesting to see if the Vikings, I believe still without Dalvin Cook, how they will move the ball down the field. Also, Adam Thielen was injured in the game on Sunday, and I'm not sure if he's going to be back. The obvious answer seems to be that he should feed Jefferson the ball. But that is more than enough fuzzy, slightly out of focus, rambling from me. I hope the Vikings get the win here. I would love to see them make a playoff push. I don't know if I've mentioned it on here, but I will actually be at Lambeau for the January 2nd game against the Packers, and I would love it if that game meant anything for the Vikings' postseason hopes. The beer will be going out shortly, and hopefully we'll get some guests on. I'm not holding my breath about shipping times during the holiday season, but it will be nice to have some guests on. I kind of had to do this one myself because there really wasn't much room for anybody else in here with my anger. Here's to hoping this week's better. Skål feeleth there. Happy holidays, and go Vikings.
Enough already!
Zimmer!
Green! Who cares about
Clint Kubiak!
anyway? The man has only one look, for Christ's sake!
Bubble screens? Swing passes? Check downs?
They're the same face! Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills! I invented
The VBG YouTube channel!
I invented it! What have you done?
Zimmer?
Nothing! You've done nothing! Nothing! And I will be a monkey's uncle if I have you ruin this for me!